For today's cup of coffee, I will tell you this has disturbing content. And that means I'll have to put it about 12 places.
Yeah.
So that we can even talk about something that's just crazy. This comes from the Daily Mail and was August the 29th, 2022 by Jack Newman. And like I said, this is a disturbing story. The link will be in the description box.
How disturbing on a one to oh shit. Is it a what the fuck files?
No, it's not quite a what the fuck file. But it is disturbing, and because not our people, if they're delicate, they're not going to be listening to us, which we appreciate. But perchance someone delicate happens by, no.
I mean, it could. We could tell some local stories like the woman who murdered that one woman.
That's everybody's got stuff like that, you know.
Or the one that just recently happened about the kidnapping.
Well, just anyhow, that's mundane. That's everyday stuff. Not around here, but other places that's ridiculously common. Which I'm really. It's sad that does happen. Police in Madagascar have shot dead at least 14 people and wounded 28 others after opening fire on a crowd of protesters angered at the kidnapping of an albino child.
And so why did they open fire? What was the reason? Because they were involved?
A crowd of around 500 angry villagers armed with machetes and knives descended on the local police station, calling for the release of the 4 suspects arrested August the 28th so they could be dealt with by the mob. The demonstrators were then tried to force their way into the station, a police officer told AFP. There were negotiations, the villagers insisted, and the police officer said over the phone, adding police-fired smoke grenades and shots in the air in an attempt to disperse the crowd. He further stated, quote, "They continued to force their way through. We had no choice but to defend ourselves," end quote. A local doctor said 9 people died on the spot and another 5 died later in the hospital. And only those injured were in critical condition. Some sub-Saharan African countries have suffered a wave of assaults against people with albinism.
Oh my God.
And whose body parts are sought for witchcraft practices in the mistaken belief that they bring luck and wealth. Because of the superstition, their body parts can be sold for thousands of dollars, and they are often targeted in ritual killings.
Holy shit.
Some believe that having sex with an albino woman can also cure AIDS. Now, the kidnapping took place last week, and no further details were immediately available. Madagascar, a large Indian Ocean island country, is ranked among the poorest in the world. And
damn,
when you have a culture or a society or whatever that does not have access to some of the more modern forms of healing, they do what they have done for generations.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where this seems horrific, and it is horrific. Throughout history, there have been some really odd cures, or things that people thought would cure them.
Right.
Urine is one that is, as far as
pee in your ear.
As today, there's a lot of people that not only use it topically, but ingest it. We are not encouraging anybody to do any of these things.
Here, kid, let me pee in the ear. We'll fix that earache right away. Let me pee in the ear.
They take a dropper on something like that. But it has not been uncommon for different animal body parts to be believed to have healing properties, blood, bile, feces, all kinds of stuff. If you even go back and look in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, poop was something that was used in many things.
That's called schizophrenia.
Well, no, that's, the personal,
you play with your own shit.
It was
you play with your own shit.
No, this was primarily like
your own poo.
Crocodile, different things like that. I think in some instances it may have been used in like makeup. and different, you know
what else
cosmetics.
You know what else was used in makeup? Malachite.
Well, yeah, malachite, which, somebody had
It's
told
toxic.
somebody had told me, said something about not putting malachite in water. Was it you?
Yes.
And that is substantiated because it can release toxins. So malachite, do not put it in water.
Well, I mean, it depends on the chemist, what kind of chemist you're asking.
No, I mean, I Google searched it. There were several sites that said do not.
If you crush it in powder, yeah, absolutely do not inhale it. Do not let it get in your eyes. Because copper poisoning. And because the eyelids are the thinnest, pieces of skin on your face, you can get into there real easily. And so...
Yeah, so but as far as the animal parts and people parts, there are still quite a few endangered species that are hunted for, different, if you want to call them folk remedies. A lot of the witch doctors and stuff, tribal healers, shamans, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever term that you want to use. And I can understand that because, like I said, some of these things, when someone is sick and they don't have an understanding of how disease is spread, then they can get desperate.
It's like that woman with the chili juice, the cabbage water, the salty cabbage water.
Well, the cabbage water is a little bit different than,
She calls it, what is it, waterfalls, and it's diarrhea.
What?
Yeah.
We had a disturbing content, not
Look
gross
it up.
content.
Look up chili juice. It is fucked up.
I don't wanna.
It was on Dr. Phil. He was on Dr.
Oh
Phil.
God. Anyhow, but as far as ritualistic,
Horrible man too.
sacrifice, that's still quite common.
Mm-hmm.
There are some, if you want to call them, different belief systems of what they are. Chickens sacrificed quite frequently. Goats, sheep, different animals like that. There are still places that do have human sacrifice. They may not talk about it, but they do have it.
Sacrifice.
So,
Sacrifice.
Anyhow, but that was the first time that I had been aware of as far as the, using albinos. And I can't understand how that would be.
I heard that they were actually good luck. Like, if you even just, meet an albino, that's good luck.
Well, that was why some of the villagers were highly upset with the ones who had kidnapped this child, was because if you have a group of people that believe that is a good luck symbol, and then somebody's wanting to do harm to the symbol of good luck, it didn't say that it, they thought it would bring a curse on the village, but it certainly wasn't going to help.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just interesting things. India has some really fascinating belief systems when it comes to children that are born different. And I had read recently there was a child that had been born with multiple limbs.
Really?
And that this child is revered as a deity.
Huh.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I know that Native Americans, as far as...
So does that mean it's going to be put up on the totem pole as far as rich?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. But the Native Americans, kids who had Down syndrome, that they believed that they were enlightened ones. And I can see that.
I mean, they're just pure emotion.
They are. They are pure emotion. If they're happy, you know it. If they're not happy, you know it.
Yeah.
And just some of the most loving people that you will ever meet.
Mm-hmm.
And there was something else that we were looking at. The child who was born with the legs were fused, and it looked almost like a horn. I did show you that.
That's the one I was like, that's a worm.
Well, it wasn't a
He's
worm.
part worm.
But it was an interesting anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's
that happens a lot over there, though.
Well, that and I think in the Middle East they have some different types of birth defects.
Yeah.
You know.
It's weird.
Do I have to call it a birth difference now?
No, it's a birth defect.
Yeah. So, but as far as tigers, I know in some
Abnormality.
areas that tigers were almost hunted to extinction because that there was some part of them that was believed to be an aphrodisiac.
Rhinos are close to extinction,
Yeah.
too.
Because
Tragic.
I think it was one of those that it was
Their
the
horns.
horn was powdered and supposedly a medicinal something.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I think the elephants, the tusks, the
Breed
ivory.
them more.
The ivory, I don't know that it was supposed to have any healing qualities. It was just for whatever decorative purposes. And I'm like, that's sick.
Question: with all the genetic testing that they're doing and like the cloning and shit, why don't they just make more rhinos? That way?
Well, that's a good question.
Why don't
And
they
I don't.
make more animals like that are extinction? They could easily help the environment by doing that.
There was, seems to me that they were trying to bring back I can't remember, some kind of tiger. It was either a Tasmanian tiger. And since you said that, I know that recently, and I find your own reference, I can't find it tonight, that they were looking at trying to clone and bring back a woolly mammoth.
Now that would be awesome, but where would it stay?
Right.
Because this is a completely different environment than when it was when they were alive.
Right. And we had recently watched that show about where they were trying to replenish the buffalo or the bison population, that they were taking the embryos and that they were implanting them into cows.
Right.
And so to try to get more
Does that mean
Buffalo.
it's part cow?
No, it was just that the cow was the host for the embryo.
Okay.
You know, so no, the cow didn't have anything to do with it.
All right.
So there are some programs that are trying to help the animals and stuff, but when you've got more poachers than you do, you know, that they're killing them faster than people can.
How
You know.
about we poach the poachers? And we can use
That's-
their bones.
That is not acceptable. But see, that was
But
the
it's
thing.
acceptable.
No, that's not how that goes. It's a matter of finding out there is justice, not vigilante justice.
Nah, I don't know with that sort of thing, like poach the poachers.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that they do try to, you know, protect these species. Now, as far as other people's belief systems, sacrificing animals, that's their belief system. I'm not going to say yay nor nay on it.
Chickens aren't even remotely close to extinction, though.
No. But as far as the endangered animals and stuff, using them as different things, I don't know whether people could go in and educate them and say, look, here's, you could use this as an alternative.
There is some sort of animal that is, like, literally right there at extinction, and I think it's literally only 2 of them left. I don't remember which kind of animal that is, but there's literally only 2 left.
Wow. Well, and it's, you know, things, and this is horrible, but there have things come and go. You know, species. Humans may be one of them that come and go. I had read the other day there was a gentleman, I think he may have been in the Amazon or someplace like that. He was the last of his tribe, of his people, and they had recently found his body where he had died. And how tragic it would be to be the last.
Yeah.
And, you know, it makes you wonder, did someone, was he willing to sit and tell his story to someone, what he knew, everything, or is that just lost?
We don't know. We don't know.
No.
Even if he did tell someone, how would we know that they would pass that along?
Well, more than likely, if somebody were going to take the time to sit and speak with someone like him, they probably would want that knowledge to be passed on to somebody else.
Right.
The question is, how many people would bother to read it or
That's
listen
true.
to it or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting things like this. And you can go and research. I was looking on even some of the medieval cures. What I found was odd is that you do have people, there are cures and treatments that seem odd, that they are outside of mainstream science, that are effective, and that they get lumped in with, the witch doctor cures, such as leeching. Leeching is very effective if someone has had to have, like, limbs reattached. It's true. Maggots. There are medicinal uses for maggots, especially if somebody has had gangrene.
That's disturbing.
Not as disturbing as somebody getting blood poisoning from gangrene. They will only eat dead tissue. And I have seen shows before where they applied the maggots, and then they would have to come and take the dressing, and they are medical grade maggots. I looked up about the leeches. You can order medical grade leeches because you never know when you're going to need that knowledge.
Just have some in a jar and once in a while put them on you.
Yeah, well, it depends.
The fuck?
There was a technique called cupping. And there were still quite a few people
That's not abnormal.
I don't think so.
That's not something drawing blood out of you.
I don't think so either. I have experienced cupping.
That's not something eating on you.
Right. Well, and it's
Just
very
suction.
interesting as far as deep tissue, moving that tissue and stuff. And it wasn't painful in the least. I looked like I had been in a fight with Cthulhu and lost. What was hilarious was my chiropractor. And they did, the massage therapist, she's like, now these can, leave bruising as far as like you've got these big round bruises and stuff. The chiropractor at the time, he was like, she did it to my head. And it's like, he was a bald gentleman. God, he was hilarious.
Imagine having those things on your head.
So
and being
he didn't care. He could have worn a bald cap. In acupuncture, somehow they lumped acupuncture in with that. I don't know. You've got people that
tiny,
polarized.
Millions of tiny little needles stuck in.
I've had acupuncture.
I know. I've seen it.
You really can't. One time, did I feel the needle because they are about the diameter of a hair.
Have you ever got a hair splinter? I've got many.
Yes, but not many. You've not had them
horrible.
At acupuncture sites. There's a difference.
I've had them in the webbing of my fingers. I've had them in right there at my nail. I've had them on here.
There was one time in the acupuncturist, he's like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, I could have come and moved it. I'm like, that one is a little uncomfortable. He's like, why didn't you say something? So, but I've had them, as far as the acupuncture in my ears, face, your feet, because that's where you've got a lot of that correspond with other organs. Only that one. And I've had quite a few treatments over the years. But that's not in with some of these other things. Cannibalism. It's like, that was interesting because cannibalism was not usually a treatment thing. A lot of times it was a matter of respect that they would take a part of the deceased into their own being. Not always. We're not talking about the ones that were just trying to survive.
Listen, I grew up on cupcakes. You know what cupcakes is? It's My Little Pony creepypasta. Pinkie Pie was a cannibal.
Oh, God.
She turned people into cupcakes. She's a murderous cannibal.
God, I don't do the My Little Pony stuff, so no, I didn't.
I was little.
Okay.
I was 12.
You were doing things on the internet that I had no idea that you were doing.
Reading creepypastas.
But
murderous cannibal.
But everybody, as far as their culture and their beliefs and stuff, I'm all for very much respecting those things. But when it is, to try to explain to somebody, look, this is, I think every culture understands murder is wrong.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I sure hope it would.
It's kind of a universal thing. But that's questionable anymore. I mean, today there are people that are advocating for murder. I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, some people do need a good, like...
That's not my call. Interesting times.
I ain't
Interesting
advocating it,
times. I can
as far
say...
as a public horsewhipping, hell yeah.
Yeah, I believe that as far as they need to bring back horsewhipping. Possibly somebody being drawn and quartered. Another thing that was used in a lot of rituals and folk healing, witch healing, real, it was as far as in witchcraft, fat.
Yeah, animal fat. Mm-hmm. That's they would also put them out. Egyptians. That's another thing other than water. Animal fat.
Sure.
Malachite.
I think it's still used in a whole lot of cosmetics.
Yes.
And it was like the whale blubber was used
That
for
was
a lot of
banned.
things. It was banned. And I'm just saying historically that was used, and there was some kind of something in the whale that was used for perfume, and I can't remember what it was.
Don't remember what it was. But also in Chanel No. 5, there was this sort of sweat from some sort of animal
Musk.
in it.
The musk glands, that was a huge thing there for a while.
And it's like they would whip the animal to get that smell
That's
for
horrible.
the perfume. Obviously that was banned, but
Essential oils, plants. That's possum fat. Maybe that's what we need.
Possum fat?
We need to make possum fat candles. We can start our own
how do you get the
cottage.
possum
We could
fat?
never hurt the possums. We really could.
I would be petting the possum.
Yes, we would. But now that's not
Give me the
uncommon as
possums.
far as tallow is what it's called, beef tallow. And then you've got pork. You render the tallow and stuff like that to processes. Interesting things. Interesting folk healing. Some of them had validity. The plants, yes. But now some of the other things, no.
The plant.
But that's just us.
Witch hazel.
Yeah, witch hazel is a great astringent.
It's great. Yeah, but I was actually looking at a serum because I need to upgrade my... Because I got pores from hell. It's like a moon crater on my face. Multiple. I look like I look like a slice of Swiss cheese. So I was looking for something. I'm like, this would be really good.
Yeah, we
Plus, I was
usually
also
have
looking for
witch
stuff
hazel.
that could help. Eldest kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Honey, that's an autoimmune thing. Everybody's trying to figure out what helps with some of those things. Apple cider vinegar. This is just for discussion.
Water.
We are not... We disclaimer.
Stay hydrated.
Do anything for anything, Do your own research.
Drink water, you dehydrated fucks. That's why your pee's yellow.
But
that's
no,
true.
actually, it's supposed to be the color of pale lemonade. If it's too clear, you can be overhydrated, and your kidneys are not filtering properly. Take this from the person with the kidney stone experience. Anyhow, apple cider vinegar
Mine has been too clear for a while.
can help
Not for a
internally and historically can help internally and externally. I've heard of people using that as an astringent. I've heard of people using that as a hair rinse.
And what was it?
Apple cider vinegar.
Oh, yeah, they still use that.
Yeah. So lots of simple things like that. Do your research. Any plants. These are medicines, and you can hurt yourself with certain plants just like you can hurt yourself with certain medicines. Know what you're doing on this stuff.
Henna.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Henna is used for hair dye as well.
Yes.
Do not try to bleach that out of your hair, or else it will catch on fire.
No kidding. The henna and the bleach will cause combustion.
It will burn. It will fry your hair. I don't know if it will necessarily turn into flames, but it will. You will be bald.
Well, I had been reading a lot about the henna tattoos and stuff, and henna is a plant mixture. That's what it is. And because I, in the past, have done henna tattoos at festivals and stuff.
I want one.
But some people were using, they called it black henna. It was not henna, it was hair dye.
Yeah,
and that people
boxed eye.
were having some really severe allergic reactions, rightfully so, because that stuff's not supposed to go on your skin. There's always unethical people, but I had been reading recently in certain places that people, especially kids, because their skin's delicate, and that they had gotten the little henna tattoos, and that, you know, they'd had the allergic reaction to it.
That's sad.
Yeah, and that was the reason I stopped doing them. Because, first of all, you had to explain to people, this is not an actual tattoo with a needle. No, that's illegal. You've got to be licensed on that stuff. This is plant. You know, I had to make people sign a disclaimer.
A waiver.
Yeah.
Be
Waiver.
like, this is like,
I'm not responsible if you have any kind
all
of
it
allergic
does
reaction.
is stain your hand for
Right.
a while. That's it.
Right. And then you would have people, because you're supposed to leave it without, you know, don't touch it for like 15 to 30 minutes.
And they would smear it,
Of course they would.
and they would wonder why it looks fucked up.
And then they wanted, it's like, can you I would do the retouching on it. So and so knocked this off. So I thought, this is not worth it. I actually did do.
I mean, that's more money.
I did somebody's hands one time for a wedding. It was a very detailed. That was, yeah, I don't have enough patience, so I didn't do that again. But it actually turned out quite well. It did.
Heck yeah.
But like I said, ADHD is like the cross stitch. I did one once. Animals, check.
You
Check.
don't do well with tedious.
I do not do well with
Details.
tedious at all.
I do well with tedious. I did tedious today.
So do your research on this stuff. Do not harm endangered species. You know, for people who have problems, get the little blue pill on. You know, ask your doctor for the little blue pill. Don't be killing a rhino or nothing.
I mean, if you're in Walmart and like someone steps on your feet and you want to punch them in the face, go right ahead.
No, that's an assault charge. That is an
They
assault.
assaulted you first. They stepped on your
No,
feet.
that was an accident. Is what they're saying. If it was an intentional something, you know, that is not how that works. If you
Free for all.
if you go to jail for stupid, I may send you money on your book so
I'll
you
be
can get you a
sitting there.
couple of
I'll be a
soups.
weekender.
You'd be sitting there calling, "Mama, come bail me out." No.
I mean, you know, I was about
No.
to sock that dude in the face when he was trying to barge into the bathroom
And
stall.
if you had done something like that and gotten arrested, first of all, you would not do well in jail, honey. You would not do well in jail.
No.
So, keep your
I mean, it would add to
anger.
the character.
Keep your anger under control. If you want to try different alternative therapies and healing methods, do your research. Make sure that somebody that you might go to is qualified. Mm-hmm. Not somebody that watched a YouTube video and thinks that they can then do acupuncture. That takes years of study to do that stuff for real. Yeah. And it was like the acupuncturist. He had studied for a long time before he ever started doing acupuncture.
Well, you have to.
Yeah. Because you can mess somebody up.
Paralyze them.
Not sure about that.
Then how do you mess them up?
You can. I mean, as far as the meridians and stuff on the body, it's like there's certain dental work that there's a theory that is bogging down the circuit of chi, and that can cause different diseases. Yeah, that's for another cup.
That
Chi,
makes me
not
wonder because
chai.
I've had teeth issues
Absolutely.
for since I was born.
Absolutely. So, anyhow, you have to do your own research. Do your own research.
Do your own research.
So if you've had experiences with the paranormal and supernatural encounters with UFOs, aliens, cryptids, if you have local, regional, or family myths or legends, or if you also have healing methods,
Yes.
you know, even if it's wives' tales or, you know, folk magic or whatever, send us an email, cupofcoffeewithscream@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Yeah, all kinds of interesting stuff.
Yeah, and if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, comment, and most of all, subscribe and click that notification button for daily notifications of our daily uploads. Thank you all. Have a good...
Know that you're loved.
Yes. We'll see
And-
you all on the next one.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.